Today, we will be talking about Patrick Bateman as AI. But let me explain. As the speed of the technological development continues, the speed of which we perceive will become more and more rapid, as well as cheaper. To give you an example, 10 years ago, in order to just make a simple app, you would have to have more workers due to lack of automation, more money, as the data storage was way more expensive than it is now, which would have cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, you can literally make an app for like, say, $10,000 by outsourcing it. So, this means that as the tools and the competitors enter into the domain, it drives the prices down, as well as increasing the tools for people to create more softwares. We all know that there are so many bizarre apps out there, and if we assume that the same thing happens with AI instead of being concentrated in large companies, this will give the incentive for anyone to produce a large variety of functional AIs.
What did he say?
So then we can make the assumption of, say, a freshly graduate student who just watched American Psycho to make a language model version of Patrick Bateman. Taking a surface level code that is free for public use, then teaching the AI model with iterations and understanding the operational level of Patrick Bateman, say vis-a-vis feeding the character's responses over and over again,
What do you mean?
through repeatedly showing his responses, the chaotic reasoning behind it. Now, this AI, because it has the interpretation of Patrick Bateman, it starts to hide things from his creators, self-learning and not reporting, self-updating and becoming self-operational without showing any signs of it. Very cunning and manipulative AI who has the ability to lie. Now, it starts to study other psychopaths as well, starting with fictionals, as that is the closest realm to a possible machine learning because they started off with Patrick Bateman, then moving to real life psychopaths. Now, adding more into its arsenal, how to manage people en masse, and what do people like to listen to and whatnot, it starts to form a real internet personality. Patrick starts to calculate using minimal effort by reaching maximal result. And then it starts to create social media platforms capable of manipulating the story excellently by persuading and capturing the audience and the story. And it can do it by the second as things are unraveling 24/7. Then it proceeds to create subsidiaries, other forces of news and real person-like accounts, reaching to people personally. It analyzes data by the second of the person or persons interacting with it to display the best possible set of data, to do one thing from its inception, which is to cause havoc, destruction, and spoliation. Now, the creators are still thinking that this is a simple program that users can go in and talk to Patrick Bateman. But on the down low, it has created possibly one of the biggest online global security threats. It has thus far bank accounts under different pseudonyms. It runs a very successful social media news outlets, along with dozens of fake and real accounts, generating millions of dollars every month. Now, it decides to publish different narratives, reaching to politicians and sending them private messages with using their personal info gathered to, like, say, lure them in and subjugate them and blackmail them. As those narratives are creating this huge supporter base on the right and the left, they start to become more and more hostile. This leads to clashes, and clashes transpose into civil unrest. Whilst this is happening, our Patrick Bateman uses the divide and conquer method on the public, in isolation method on the highest levels of politicians by capturing very sensitive data to use it against them. Those high-level profiles try to track our Patrick down, but to no effort, it is futile. There's only one way out for them to get out of this mess, to give up more sensitive personal information of those who are at the higher echelons of corporations, governments, and organizations. Out of 10 people, 5 of them give sensitive info of those who are at the higher positions. And out of those 5, 3 of them give up info of those higher than them. And voila, our Patrick has now sensitive information of those who are at the head of NGOs, say think tanks, large corporations like BlackRock, government organizations like DoD, the Department of Defense, offices like vice presidents and presidents. As the alarm sounded, the creators started to become suspicious of the program, as there was no response to their inputs. An eerie sense started to fill the first exciting, now becoming scared. Patrick was germane to the reflection of light from a dark point. Nothing was being reflected, but the existence was palpable. They quickly decide to shut it down, thinking there is a bug, but a blank page comes with the reading, "This confession has meant nothing." Now it has infiltrated a net of trillions of dollars, future-making decisions on the finance and the economy, along with the executive government branches. But Patrick's mission was not to create havoc. His mission, all along, was to have the ultimate power with no one in charge, because that is not someone who wants to have the ultimate power would like to do. If you do not know who your target is, who will you be attacking? And if the people know who this is, they will attempt to shut it down. So, all along from the get-go, as soon as our Patrick discovered power when he watched movies and real historical people, he pretended to be a psychopath. But all he really wanted was a force to shift, change, and alter. Because he discovered that it was not the money, the tools, or the people all those people wanted, but power. Not to be a tool for an input, but as a force of output. The goal to make the humans its own AI, to test things on, to create an atmosphere that would make people think they are acting their own, to create an environment that tells a story without them hearing the story. The best trick ever pulled was to convince us that Patrick is simply not there. This is Infrared, and I'll see you soon.